That's their name. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dog. You got one job. Say my name, dog. if you acting like you love me, say you wanna love me. All right, here we go. Hey man, it is the Michael show. As you can see, we already started without you. We having fun. We laughing up in here and stuff. Hey, we're going to talk about music stuff today. Right, exactly. What happened to the music business, G? I can understand like some of these other industries that went out of business, but the music business went out like on a high note. Like the music business was thriving 15 years ago. People were buying CDs, DVDs, going to concerts like crazy. Some of the biggest concerts were sellout concerts back then, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like overnight, where's the music business? Now there's a different entire music business module. Like some of the people that were A&R people are out selling cars now. You know, I used to represent artists, but now I can get you into a Buick for just nothing down. Let's talk, buddy. Let's talk. Anyway, welcome to the show. If you ever want to be on, man, you know how to do it. Just send us a message. We'll get you on the show. It's the best way to speak your mind, voice your opinions, ideas, suggestions, convictions, beliefs, all that. Today, my guest on the show is in the entertainment business, a music maker. The man is an artist. Welcome to the show for the first time. Reime Schemes is with us. What's up, buddy?
What's up? How you doing, man?
Man, well, you starting off right with a Bob Marley t-shirt. You pretty much can't
do
wrong.
Represent.
Yeah, you pretty much can't do wrong with a Bob Marley t-shirt.
Yeah, and I saw some online today and said they have like a choice of like, I don't know, 10 artists that may have died. And they had like Prince, Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, and all of them. Of course, Bob was on my list. You only pick 3 out of the 20 or 30. And it was, of course, it was Michael Jackson, Prince, and Bob. Those are my 3.
Well, let me ask you something. Before we get like into the body of the interview, I just want to ask on Bob Marley. A friend of mine said one time, he said, you know, Bob Marley's music was political music. And a lot of people don't know that. And I thought about what he said, and I was like, And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And finally, I agreed that, you know, the stuff that Bob was singing about was really controversial to certain individuals. Like, you just don't talk about this apartheid and things that were going on. And Bob Marley and Stevie Wonder in that time in the early 70s, they were very controversial with the songs that we listen to today that are like, oh man, that's the groove. You know, well, that. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, and that's the reason why I'm wearing this shirt. That's the reason why he's a legend, and it's because of pressing the envelope and not being afraid to make the type of music that he felt from the heart, opposed to just making whatever is acceptable or who can pass by for the populace. You know, so that's the reason why those certain artists last the test of time, and why today it's like he's one of the greatest still. Like, I mean, worldwide, you go anywhere, someone's representing the Marley family or anything. So that's kind of my thoughts.
Now, as an artist yourself, do you think people make a conscious choice, artists, to decide if they're going to follow their heart or they're going to follow the money?
I think nowadays they do, because it's so easy for people to make music. And a lot of these artists now, they don't even need the tastemakers. They don't need like the middleman. They can just go from their laptop, whatever their software, microphone in their room, put it online and go viral. And
see, I've said that. I've said that for years. I think that's the no-brainer. In this market today, I think you can literally make a beat or download one. Now you ain't even got to make the beat. You know, you got a catchy idea, and you don't even need a catchy idea, just an idea, and you could be in the game. It's very interesting. Very interesting business.
Yeah, it's crazy if you get the right market. Because I saw another quote today say, you know, your music's not bad, it's just not being marketed to the right people. And I realized there's so many people in the world. If you just find a certain demographic that like you,
that's right.
You're taking off.
Hey, somebody likes that little bit of Monica in the sun. Somebody thought that was brilliant. you know? And here,
Right?
here we sit, you know, I don't know if you broke, but I'm broke. I'm on quarantine. That's how broke I am. So, somebody took that and ran with that. Like, hey, that's hot. Mambo number 5. Forget 1, 2, and 3, and 4. This one's the hit, you know? Okay, but enough about those people. So you're doing your thing. How would you
Yep.
describe your flavor to someone who's never heard?
Right now where I'm at 2020, I'm more of a fusion artist. So I kind of incorporate hip hop with Afro beats, bongo music, like which East African style, reggaeton, and dancehall. So I mix all those together and try to give a more international feel with my music.
Oh, I love to hear
When I
this.
started off, when I started off, I was just straight up South Bronx hip hop rapping, and I realized that you had to change with the time or create a certain lane and find a lane that works for you, that can actually get a reaction.
Yeah, I really appreciate you for doing that. I haven't heard any of your music yet, but to me, I look at it like your artist journey is your individual artist journey. So I've worked with a lot of artists, and I used to book the House of Blues in Hollywood. So I was booking every day. I talked to 50 artists a day. And what used to turn me off right away is when I would ask an artist, well, so what is your flavor? And they say, well, like Maroon 5. And it's like, whoa. Not okay, first off, Maroon 5. No. Texas and Arizona. Okay, so we got to do, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we disclaimer that because we don't want anybody to be freaking out on that statement. But anyway, not saying anything bad about Maroon 5, but my point is that if I ask you what your flavor is, and you tell me you're a cross between another artist, like you told me genre, you get what I'm saying? But if you tell me I'm like Kanye West mixed with mint ripple ice cream, dog, that's not your music. That's you just taking what he does and trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I like what you're saying. Plus, I like those island beats anyway. So that to me is awesome right off the bat. How did you just get into that? Why did you decide that would be where you're at now as an artist?
Because just making music that I can identify with.
Mm-hmm.
I travel the world. I like different type of music, and it through that journey, I started off making music what I thought I should make as a being a hip hop artist to making music I really like to make as a consumer and also culturally and things I've seen throughout the years.
No, your manager may not have told you, but the thing is that we actually have a lot in common because we're both Black. No, but on the fact that we are both Black, that's actually part of what we do have in common. Because years ago, I wasn't just booking for the sake of booking. I was actually a signed artist. I was signed to Interscope, and I was signed before Interscope. I was signed to Virgin. I opened for Prince for local shows, not on a big tour. But the thing about the music business, when I was getting into it, this is where Black comes in, because Black always fits in there somewhere. Okay, so the reason I brought up Blackness is because when I was pursuing a record deal, record labels would literally tell you up front, like, there's no place for you on the radio unless you're R&B. Funk is kind of out. Prince covered all the funk in the 90s. There was no real funk artist. He wasn't Prince, you wasn't doing funk. So Prince had funk, Bobby Brown, Usher had R&B, you know what I'm saying? The older guys, we'll call them the legends, like Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson, they had R&B and soul. Keith Washington, those guys. So for me, I was always doing rock and roll music, and that's what I wanted to do. And it was like, nah, unless you are the one Hootie and Blowfish or the one Seal, even with Travis, he's more of a producer. Sorry, bro. So you really didn't have a shot. Now I think that an artist like Bruno Mars, for example, has unlocked a lot of opportunity for an artist to come at the market the way they see fit and let the market figure out how they're gonna rebound. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like, cause he's more like I don't know, I want to say with Bruno Mars, he's just like, I think he's like more like an octopus, I would say. He can reach, he's doing multi-genre, creating sounds and just you're just making cool music across the board, like multi-genre. So I definitely agree with that.
To me, that's what an artist should do, though. Like, you know, when I listen to Stevie Wonder, and I love Stevie Wonder, Stevie has gone some places, man. He is really, as an artist, he's just a tapestry, man. He's just like, where I want to go, let's do that style. Let's do this style. And then his collaborations are off the chain. You know what I mean? We're not just talking about him. I mean, you got to remember, Stevie Wonder was Ebony and Ivory with Paul McCartney. Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney?
Right?
Who even puts that together? But it's a great song. You know, it's Stevie Wonder. And he's a consummate artist. So you as an artist, when I say, for example, what is your best song? In your opinion, what is your best song and why is that your best song? In your opinion, not what other people might think, but what do you think? What's your best song in your opinion?
My best song is actually my latest song I'm pushing right now, called Paradise.
Paradise. Okay.
Yeah.
Good title.
It's actually
2 thumbs up on the title already. Paradise. Good call.
Yeah, it's actually a cross between Afro beats and hip hop, but it's not like when a person listen to it, it's easy listening hip hop. So it's like you can actually it's a vibe. And I think what's the style I was looking for when I was trying to change my style. How can I get it where it's smooth enough where everyone can listen to it, but still be, lyrical and actually have content in it. And so I had to figure that out. And I tried a couple songs before that and got good reactions, but this one it just so effortless and it seemed to work. It's easy for people to just listen to. So I think, and I can listen to it. Right, I can listen to it and over and over and over. I can't find any flaws. So that's kind of why I figure it's my best song. I kind of reached that one I wanted to make.
That's what's up. Did you need to turn your light on?
No.
I didn't know if you needed it. Oh, no, I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll edit that part out too. That's really fabulous about your songs. Now, what's interesting, and I want to just if there was a way to pause this, okay? I want to pause this. I want to make sure that the viewer understands this, that my man has not dropped a single artist's name in his definition of his music. And you got to understand that that's truly important. It was Prince who said in a Rolling Stone or some interview, they asked him, why he doesn't do covers. Well, he did some covers, but mostly he didn't. And he said, how could I do a cover when I've never walked that person's experience? I don't know anything about that person's life. How am I going to sing their song? I can't even get that. Why would I do that? And it was that's an interesting way to look at it. Because after all, these songs are your stories. They're your mini movies of your life experience. I can't do your songs. Hopefully you can't do mine, but you know what I'm saying? That's a very unique thing. So tell me a little bit about your background that inspired all of this. Why music? Why not be the president? One. You know what I'm saying? What drove you to this?
It's actually funny because I pursued music later on in life. So it wasn't like I was a fan of music my whole life. I listened to so much music, but I didn't start making music until I actually got in the military. So I was in the military and did a tour of duty in Iraq. And I was over there about 512 days.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. No problem. 512 days. So it was these guys, they were from New York, Baltimore, Texas. And when we have our downtime, these guys would just freestyle every single day. And it was it got to the point where I jumped into it with them. So 200 days of doing this, you actually start developing a skill. And so, by the time I got back home and got back to the neighborhood and everyone was rapping, and I just kind of just popped on the scene and surprised everyone. It's kind of
So you didn't have the desire, you didn't have a music bug in you before this as a child? Nothing?
No, I liked it. I played, I was in a band and stuff like that in school. I played some instruments, trumpet and stuff like that. But I never thought to be an actual recording artist. I was more so on the education side. I went away to university first before I went to the military. You know, then after I got the military, I ended up going to more like school, like master degree level. Then I also went to law school as well. But I never wanted to be an artist till I actually was convinced based on the skill set that I had. So it was kind of like one day someone like this attorney was actually telling me, hey, you know, you should start rapping for real. You should start singing for real because you got some talent. Right. And I'm like, well, I don't like. So my thought in my head was that whole, well, I don't want to look like I'm irresponsible or I'm like this, you know, this guy who's not intelligent. I want people to be able to see my intelligence. Well, they said, you can put your intelligence in your music. They can see it. So once I got that kind of pep talk, I was able to start making music. And so that was kind of like how the journey happened.
Now it brings up an interesting story too, or an interesting point. Like, do you ever consciously think about what you want to represent in your music life versus your personal life? Like, how much of your actual fantasies and dreams and aspirations go into your songs, and how much of that stays personal?
You know, now it's to the point now where I just sing about what I really live. So it's kind of like, I don't know. How can I say it? Now it's not me creating, it's not creating songs or imagery or anything like that. It's just like, this is how I feel. And I try to find a way to make it relatable to other people, like my life story or how I feel about a girl or how I feel about this situation I'm in. So now I kind of like connected the two together. So now it's just like me being me on both ends within the music.
So when you say how you feel about a girl, you mean like how you actually feel about a real girl in your life? Or like, I'm a songwriter, so I can write a song that's not really about a girl that I know. It's just that, you know, I can say, well, this would be a cool thing if the guy's trying to say this and the girl is not hearing it because this is the situation in their relationship, and I can write something. But do you actually write something that is from your personal romantic experience?
Yeah, it may not be like at the particular time, but it can be something I experienced, like, and I'm kind of like reflecting on it. So it's like, it's still kind of real. Like I have done them before where like I was married years ago, and I made a song called 4 Letters that was actually talking about that experience, you know? So it's kind of like, it was after, but I was able to like explain the situation, how I felt. Or like, let's say the song Paradise I'm talking about, the one I currently dropped. It's not a current situation, but it's kind of like me explaining how I felt. I had a particular feeling at a certain time in my life that it had fit with the song. And so that was kind of like, you know, it's more real because I can say this stuff. It's kind of like it's coming out of me, opposed to me just saying, let me create a scenario. These people will like this. No, let me just speak me, and then you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. That's kind of how I feel.
That sounds extremely cathartic, but also terrifying as hell. But, so you're doing that, and then I was going to ask you, so where does marketing come into play? Because nowadays artists, let's be honest, if you're not at least thinking about the marketing of your music while you're making the music, you're not going to go very far. So when you're writing songs, are you also thinking about, okay, this would be the music video, and this could be how much marketing thought goes into the creative process now?
Marketing is 90% of the game for me.
Okay.
So like, everything is all about like, I guess, levels, because like, let's say I dropped a song last year that did really well in, let's say, the Caribbean or Africa. So now I'm taking that data, that analytics of the previous song. Now I'm trying to find, okay, what would this market particularly like now going forward? So then once I do that, I drop a song with that market in mind that's related to what I have going on. And then I just retarget that market and try to make it grow from that. So like, for example, I did a song called Tifa Wine, like before this Paradise track. And Tifa Wine did pretty well. And I was targeting originally the Caribbean, like Jamaica and all the Caribbean, but it got a better reaction in East Africa. So once I figured out East Africa was a niche for this particular music, I kept testing it, running tests. And then I made the next song and directly targeted right to East Africa. And it hit like 1.5 million views in about 30 days. And so right now I'm like now I'm actually trying to manifest it. Now I'm going on all the media and everything in that particular region to kind of make the song grow, to build from that song to the next song. So that's kind of how I approach marketing.
No, what's interesting is I don't think that in the 60s, for example, you saying something like that as an artist would have ever really set well with Jimi Hendrix or The Doors or Janis Joplin. Like, I think there's definitely become a slant. It's almost like real estate. Like, for example, at a certain point in your life, at a certain time, you want to rent. You just want to rent. Like, you're not thinking about making a commitment or buy. You want to rent. It makes sense. And then after you get to a certain point, you don't want to rent anything. You want to own something. And it's a shift that happens in everybody's life. The same thing, I think, artistically. After a point, I think you were happy. I don't know if you were, but you, the figurative artist, was happy playing in a bar and singing and just, hey, getting a little recognition. But after a point, you realize, man, I want this stuff published. I want this stuff on the radio. I want to get residuals. I want to get royalties. I want to just make money doing this. So if I'm going to do that, I've got to think about, what are they listening to? Like you said, what are they listening to in South Africa? Because that's a market. And if they don't have me in that market, will it be so empty without me? Yeah. Woo, that's what I'm talking about.
You're right. So you're definitely right. Yeah.
So what do we need to do if we want to stalk you, we want to find you, want to get your music? What happens next?
Everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reime Schemes, ReimE Schemes. First part is in German, but those who sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Okay.
And, yeah, everywhere, man. Apple Music and Paradise. I'm just trying to run that one to the ground until that one, to the next one comes up.
And we're going to run out of time, but you do realize you weren't going to escape this interview without this question. Where does your name come from?
Reime Schemes. So Reime Scheme come from me writing poems. Like, I'm poetic. Like, I write poems earlier on before the music. And I say, I'm spitting in these rhyme schemes. And this one girl in Germany is like, Reime Schemes. And I was like, what? And so that's kind of how the name came from, this German girl calling me Reime Schemes. And then she said, oh, I said, well, it's spelled Rhyme. She said, no, it's Reime. So I said, oh, okay, well, that's my name. Reime Schemes.
Good origin story begins with the girl. That's another show. We'll talk about where that went. But something apparently inspired something. Hey, man, it's the Ace Michael Show. My guest today, Reime Schemes. And we're going to check out his song, Paradise. Let's all support it, like it, share it. Let's try to make this a great song. Wouldn't you guys like to be part of making a hit record? Wouldn't that be dope if we actually helped make this a hit song? That'd be amazing. Let's do it. Let's try it out. Mr. Reime Schemes, thank you so much for being on the show today. For everybody that watched, thank you guys. And you know what I say at the end of every show? I mean it. Live the life you love. Actually, Bob Marley. Live the life you love the life you live. Thank you.